What's up, everybody? It's your boy Joshua Edwards, live from Brooklyn, New York. This is Panthers Pride Television. We know today's the day. We've already experienced the NFL scouting combine. We've already experienced guys getting franchise and transition tagged. But today is the official day where teams will be allowed to contact players for free agency. You're going to see a bidding war. I'm going to get to that in a second. But before that, I got to address this, man. Yesterday, the Seattle Seahawks traded DK Metcalf for a second rounder in 2025 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, he did go for a 5-year, I want to say $170 million contract. But are the Carolina Panthers too scared to move on? Are we too scared to move off of draft picks in order to go out here and get guys? Like, DK Metcalf is a guy who is a superstar. Make no mistaken. I mean, played 15 games this past season, averaged over 66.1 yards per game, 66 receptions, 992 receiving yards, and 5 total touchdowns. We know with the Pittsburgh Steelers, outside of George Pickens, they really didn't have any other receivers. They need a quarterback, obviously, but this guy is going to make your quarterback better. He would have made Bryce Young extremely more talented, extremely better. We already know Bryce Young can ball. But you traded him for a second rounder? We have 4 fourth rounders. If we cannot find a way to mortgage 4 fourth rounders in this year's draft and get guys like a DK Metcalf, if we can't find a way to mortgage those 4 fourth rounders and trade up into the draft, we are missing out. We're missing out on a lot of building cornerstones within the Carolina Panthers organization. This guy would have been a huge cornerstone, and he's going to be a cornerstone for the Pittsburgh Steelers for years to come. I just don't want us to get too gun shy to where we not going out here and actively signing guys. You're seeing the dysfunction within the Cincinnati Bengals locker room, organization. They can't sign guys. They can't sign a T. Higgins. They can't sign a Jamar Chase. They're about to get rid of a Trey Hendrickson. We don't need that, especially while Bryce is on a rookie contract. This should have been done. Second rounder in 2025. I understand the demands of him getting paid. Bro, we just freed up tons of cap space for guys like this. He was the ideal target, man. So I'm interested to see what the hell Dan Morgan and Dave Canales do actually in free agency. But right now, it's kind of kicking off to a bad start, man. At least leaving a sour taste in my mouth. And like I said, illegal tampering begins today at noon in free agency. Some guys that I expect us to look at, or not even just that. I just want you just to listen or read with me what Dan Graziano says he expects the Carolina Panthers to do. He expects the Panthers to seek big names in free agent. Javon Holland, Cameron Bryan, etc. Might be one of the teams willing to spend big to lure defensive tackle Milton Williams away from the Eagles. So there are a couple other guys that I think that we should take a look at. Like he just stated, Dan Graziano, who is an ESPN reporter, ESPN insider for the NFL side of the company. Javon Holland and Tyler Hufanga. There are 2 safeties right now that are on the market. Tyler Hufanga, just kind of, shorten his name. Hufanga, it was an all-pro. He was a guy that's coming off of an ACL injury, started turning up towards the end, but Javon Holland is the key guy for us in this free agency market. Like, I understand, we know that we need safeties. Jordan Fuller was an all-time miss. Xavier Woods was a miss to a certain extent. And then, we also got Sam Franklin in the cut. So, Javon Holland, I expect him to get a 5-year, $60 million contract or a 3-year, $60 million contract. That's just the floor right now. We just missed out on the DK Metcalf because we were too scared to trade our second round of this year. You got to make moves, man. If you really want to compete in the NFC South with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with the Atlanta Falcons, this is how you make the moves. We just saw last year the Atlanta Falcons paid Jesse Bates. This could be our Jesse Bates. Javon Holland is that good. Hufanga is that good. He was an all-pro. So, I mean, you're looking at situations at 12 p.m. Please make sure you're paying attention to your clock. Please make sure that you're paying attention to your Apple Watch, ESPN alerts, Twitter, X, wherever you get your NFL updates from. This is going to be huge moves across the board for the Carolina Panthers. We have enough cap space. We have enough draft capital. I'm looking forward to it. You should be looking forward to it as well. Now, with that also being said, Tyrann Mathieu has also been linked with the Carolina Panthers in free agency. So there's two parts in free agency that a lot of guys should pay attention to. The first is right around this time, the March 10th through the March 12th. This is where teams are going to be putting in bids. They're going to be putting in bids on who they want to get, and just basically who fits their team. And then there's others. There's a second part of free agency, the June 1st, where you see veteran guys that have a lot of cap hits. They're going to get cut around this time. Tyrann Mathieu is a guy who is a future Hall of Famer, in my opinion. This past season played 17 games, 62 total tackles, 3 interceptions, 7 pass breakups, and 2 forced fumbles. He is a 3-time first-team All-Pro. He was in the slot, and he's been in at safety. He is a guy that is going to be expected to be cut around June 1st. Like I said, there's going to be a couple guys that we might cut around June 1st because of salary cap issues. If you cut them before June 1st, you're going to owe about maybe $19, $16 million versus if you cut them after June 1st, which may be $6 to $5 million or whatever like that. And this New Orleans Saints are a team currently that are minus $40 million in the cap hole right now. So it's only right that they move off of this guy. Now, if we go out here and get Javon Holland, all bets are off. But Tyrann Mathieu, for where he's at in his career, 32 years of age, he's probably got about maybe 2 to 3 more seasons left in his body. 2 years, $24 million contract. That is very doable. For him to stay in the South, he's a New Orleans type of guy. If he loves the cool and warm weather, Carolina Panthers and Carolina is the place to be, man. So June 1st is another part in free agency that everybody has to pay attention to. Today at noon is when everything is a damn fire sale, for a lack of better words. Now, the last thing. These are 2 guys I expect us to sign. So last week I talked about my guy from Tennessee. But this guy right here in particular is the first target, Jonathan Allen. Now, Jonathan Allen only played 8 games this season. Remember, he was on the list. He was trying to get traded a while back before Jaden Daniels came this past season. Played 8 total games, only 19 total tackles, 7 QB hits, 3 tackles for losses with 3 sacks. Now, the thing with Jonathan Allen, he's getting a little bit older. And as you can see in this photo, I hate his damn face mask. The face mask is damn terrible. But that's besides the point. He is still a guy that can play high-quality football. At the defensive tackle, if you pair him up with Derrick Brown, you're going to cause havoc. I do not expect my D tackle to have 20-plus sacks. If you do, you're an anomaly. You are Aaron Donald. You are Warren Saps of the world. That does not happen too often at the defensive tackle position. So if Jonathan Allen, if we can sign him, he gives us about 5 to 7, maybe even 8 sacks per year. I can live with that. The job as a defensive tackle in the 1, 2, and 3 technique, your job is to open up lanes for linebackers to fill. He is going to be a guy that is going to fill, just allow the linebackers to run through the hole and make the play. And then the second guy is a guy that I've talked about week in and week out. Milton Williams, unsung hero in Philly. 17 games played this past season. If you go look at the numbers speak for himself. I understand he was paired with Jalen Carter. I understand he was paired with Jordan Davis. I understand he was probably paired with a Josh Sweat or Hassan Reddick. But the numbers speak for himself. 17 games played, 7 tackles for losses, 24 total tackles, 10 QB hits, 5 sacks. Like I said, I don't expect my D tackle to have too many tackles. If he has a lot of tackles, that's good. Derrick Brown had over 100-plus tackles, set an NFL record at the defensive tackle spot. I'm fine with that, but I don't expect that. I expect my D lineman, my D tackle to create running lanes for the linebackers to fill. My linebackers should lead the team in tackles. My strong safety, hell, even my free safety should lead tackles on my football team. So this is going to be a guy that is also going to be highly touted. You already saw what Dan Graziano said. You already saw what he said, man. And when you just put everything together, Milton Williams is a guy that is primed to be a Carolina Panther. Dan Graziano said it himself. We are literally one of the teams that could be willing to spin big to lure Milton Williams away from the Eagles. We already did it one time. We signed Hassan Reddick a while back. This guy right here is built for the Carolinas. Don't make no mistake. Him and along with Jonathan Allen can definitely be future Carolina Panthers starting today. Make sure that you stay by your phone. Hey, Panthers Pride, baby. We are out. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.